For all you cheeseheads out there, let's talk about the 2025 Green Bay Packers. A season filled with explosive highs, frustrating lows, breakout fantasy moments, and one massive defensive addition that dominated headlines all offseason. Micah Parsons. Did he change the identity of this team? Let's break it all down. The Packers finished 9-7-1, second in the NFC North, made the postseason for the third straight year before falling in the wildcard round to Caleb Williams and the Bears, 27-31. A good team, but not quite a great one. They were a middle-of-the-pack scoring offense at 23 points per game, but they were elite on third down, second best in the NFL at 48. Defensively, they finished top 12 in scoring, allowing 21.7 points per game, and they needed every bit of that because the offense led the league in giveaways and had the second highest interception rate. Now the offense, Jordan Love quietly put together one of the most efficient seasons in football, 72.7 total QBR. Third in the NFL, 101.2 passer rating, 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 3,381 yards in just 15 games. In fantasy, a QB12, QB15 range with 243.1 points on the season. He was clean, he was poised, he was efficient, but he still wasn't elevating the offense. Where he did excel, passing efficiency with explosive scoring games and a low turnover rate compared to 2024. But where he struggled, red zone chemistry without Tucker Kraft, second half drive stalls, and an inconsistent production versus top defenses. Love took a step, but the Packers need him to take the step. The running game was a tale of two Jacobs. Josh Jacobs' season was split cleanly in half. His season totals were 929 rushing yards, good enough for RB20, 13 rushing touchdowns, tied for third in the NFL, just behind Jahmyr Gibbs, 4 yards per carry, and 36 catches for 282 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, weeks 1 through 10, RB5 overall. 18.1 fantasy points per game, 11 touchdowns, looked like the vintage Josh Jacobs we're known to see. After he returned week 13 from a knee injury, the RB2 range, only 2 top 12 finishes, he clearly lost the burst and efficiency. Emmanuel Wilson was a glimmer of a bright spot. 496 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 15 catches for 99 yards, an 88% catch rate. Week 12, he had 107 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 24.5 fantasy points. Fantasy takeaways? Jacobs was a high-end RB2, carried by touchdowns, but not efficiency. Some improvements that are needed are more explosive runs, better early down blocking, and a true speed change of pace back. Now let's move to a room of rookie contracts full of exciting names and highlight real potential, but no true number one receiver. Romeo Doubs emerged as Jordan Love's most consistent chain mover, leading the team in receptions and yards. He totaled 55 catches for 724 yards and 6 touchdowns, 165.4 fantasy points, averaged 10.3 per game. Week 4, he finished as the wide receiver 2 versus Dallas, accounting for 3 touchdowns on just 58 yards. He was a steady wide receiver 3 and a reliable chain mover. Christian Watson showed real year-over-year growth, improving his catch totals, touchdown production, and both his per-game and season-long fantasy output compared to last season. He had 36 catches for 611 yards and 6 touchdowns, 132.4 fantasy points, 13.2 per game. He had a 26% target share. He had 4 games with 21-plus yards per catch. Weeks 11 through 14, he averaged 15 PPR points per game, a wide receiver 2 pace. All of this in just 10 games this season. Jaden Reed, he only played in 7 games. He had an 86% catch rate, showing reliable hands when he was out there. When healthy, he can be that wide receiver 3 flex, as we've seen last year. Dontavian Wicks, he had 32 catches, 332 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was a deep flex option when injuries hit. The rookie Matthew Golden had 29 catches, 361 yards, and 65.1 PPR points, giving him late season flex flashes. This room is loaded with young talent, but no alpha emerged. Bottom line, everyone flashed, no one separated. This offense desperately needs a true wide receiver 1. Before the ACL tear in week 9, Tucker Kraft was on a top 5 tight end trajectory. He essentially operated as the number 3 option in the passing game, giving Love a reliable, physical target who could win underneath and in the seams. His usage spiked in the red zone and in games where Christian Watson missed time. He had 32 catches, 489 yards, and 6 touchdowns, 117.2 fantasy points. He had a 24% target share. His injury derailed the offense's red zone efficiency, third down conversions, and the offensive rhythm. They need him healthy. But the other half of the equation is just as important. Can Luke Musgrave be the tight end 2 they can trust behind him? Micah Parsons didn't just arrive in Green Bay, he came in firing, no warm-up needed. The months-long hold-in, the trade drama, the cowboy or not saga, all of it ended the moment he stepped onto the field in week 1 and played like a man who'd been waiting to unleash hell. He became a first-team All-Pro instantly, and for 14 weeks he was the most feared defender in the NFC North. His production backed up the hype: 41 tackles, 19 solo, 12.5 sacks. He led the NFL with 53 quarterback pressures. He also had 1 forced fumble. In fantasy, he was on a D1 Edge 1 pace up through week 14. He averaged 17.4 fantasy points per game in big play scoring formats. He had 5 games with 20-plus fantasy points. He had 2 true nuke weeks of 30-plus points. And he led the NFL in pressures, a sticky, predictive stat for future sacks. If you had him, you felt like you were playing 10 on 9 every week. With Parsons, McKinney, Nixon, and Walker totaling 128 tackles, this defense had real bite. Defensive strengths came from the pass rush, turnovers, and situational stops, but their weaknesses were due to the cornerback depth, late-game run fits, and fatigue from the offensive inconsistency. This unit was good enough to win playoff games. They just didn't get the offense's support. For the 2026 draft, the Packers do not have a first-round pick, as it went to Dallas in the Parsons deal. So they will look later in the draft at bolstering the interior of the offensive line to improve run blocking and late game protection. Other positions of interest will be edge rusher, linebacker, and corner. So that's the story of the 2025 Green Bay Packers, a team with playoff talent, a rising quarterback, and a superstar defender in Micah Parsons. They have a roster that feels 1 or 2 pieces away from getting out of that first round. The foundation is strong, as with all the teams, the draft is key. And if they stay healthy, Green Bay could threaten the competition in the NFC. If you liked what you heard, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep breaking down your favorite teams every week. And now we want to hear from you. With all these young wideouts in Green Bay, which receiver do you think takes the leap next season? Drop your pick in the comments below.